Fire.
What is fire?
The effect from a chemical reaction between oxygen in the air and sort of fuel.
Used as a source of light and heat. It could also a source of destruction, injuries, and death. How does a fire start? There are 4 ingredients or elements to produce a fire. These elements of fire needed to ignite are fuel,
Oxygen.
heat, chemical chain reaction. It is called the fire tetrahedron. Fuel, combustible and flammable materials. Fire needs something to burn, such as solid, liquid, or gas. Second, oxygen. There's need sufficient oxygen supply to keep the fire burning. Air consists about 21% oxygen, and most fires require at least 16% oxygen to trigger a fire. Third, heat or the ignition source. Heat is needed to start a fire. It is the initial ignition of fire, and is also required to maintain the fire and enable it to spread. When all 3 elements are present and combined together, they cause a chain reaction, which result to combustion, or otherwise known as fire. This can be remembered as the fire tetrahedron. There are 4 stages of fire.
Ignition or incipient stage. Growth stage. Fully developed stage. And decay stage.
Ignition stage.
Point wherein the fire starts. There's plenty of oxygen, little heat and smoke. Fire is still small and generally confined to fuel that initially ignited.
Growth stage.
Temperature and smoke level increases, oxygen level decreased, and the fuel is already dried out. Hot gases rise to the ceiling and spreads outward. The walls can be continuous if there is enough fuel and oxygen. The smoke layer is getting thicker and fire is starting to spread to nearby furniture.
Fully developed stage.
All combustibles materials present are continuously burning, maximum amount of heat is released, unburned gases begin flowing to adjacent spaces and ignite once it enters a space where air more abundant.
Decay stage.
Intensity of fire decreasing due to lack of available fuel, most of fuel are consumed, effort concentrated on cooling of the remaining fuel. This diagram shows the stages of fire. Where the incipient stage is where a flame is still beginning. The growth of a fire will be affected by the structure of the building and the fuel available. It is between the growth and the fully developed stages of fire when a flashover occurs. A flashover is defined as the near simultaneous ignition of most of the directly exposed combustible material in an enclosed area. After the flashover, the fire reaches the fully developed stage. This phase is where the maximum heat release is at its greatest. The temperature will be at its highest point. Decay, the final stages of fire. This stage occurs after the peak of a flame starts to run out of fuel or oxygen. Fires can be forced into the decay stage by reducing oxygen supply with firefighting equipment. Not all fires are the same. In fact, there are 5 classes of fires, and each has a required fire extinguisher. Before using a fire extinguisher, make sure to check the label, if it is the specific extinguisher to be used.
Using the wrong class of fire extinguisher could cause injury or death. Portable fire extinguishers are easy enough to move around. It should be used when the fire is in the early stage.
Watch the 5 simple and proper techniques on how to use a fire extinguisher. Click the link below in the description area.
Once the fire begins to grow, it is better to call for the fire department, alarm the others, and evacuate. Protect our families and our properties. Remember, prevention is always better than cure.